Everybody, here we go. Set it right here. All right. So let's see here. We're on chapter 5. And I'm going to be reading from chapter 5. Let's get cozy, get in your bed, and remember, close your eyes, try to relax, and listen to the storytelling. We're chapter 5, so I'm going to keep reading for a little bit. And close your eyes. Just try to sleep. This probably will help you sleep when you, just listen. Chapter 5. Time for hot potato. Boom, Dad. He had to put on a pair of fancy sunglasses to protect his eyes from the morning light. It was still very early for him to be awake. Vampires usually sleep through the day. You all know the rules, don't you? He shouted. Of course you do. You're humans. Then he produced a big present from behind his back. Everyone in the circle, please, he said. My friends and I shuffled ourselves into a circle on the floor. Dad gave the package to one of my friends. There you are, he said. Pass it around. We all started to pass the present around the circle, but something was missing. Music, I whispered to Dad. We need music. Music, shouted Dad to Mom. Mom opened her mouth and started to sing a tickly fairy song. I felt my face go red with embarrassment. Some of my friends started to giggle. That's right, it's hot potato, called Dad. Pass it around. Around and around it goes. The hot potato present went around and around the circle. You guys hear me? And then it went around and around again. I started to wonder when Mom was going to go to stop singing. I was about to whisper to Dad again when suddenly there was a great big bang. Surprise! Shouted Dad as the package exploded in Oliver's hand. Fireworks shot out in it and up in the air. Glittery pink sparks and sparkling fizzing stars swirled and swirled around the room. Oh no, I said to Pink Rabbit, but my friends didn't seem to mind. In fact, they liked it. They all stood up and started dancing to Mom's song under the falling sparks. They're so pretty, breathed Zoe as she tried to catch a shooting star. It's magical, yelled Sashi. Everyone danced until the sparks stopped falling and Mom stopped singing. Time for the magician, announced Dad, opening the door for Wilbur. He swept in, swishing his starry robe. It's Wilbur the Great, Ashley corrected. Wilbur, sit down, everyone, he said bossily. Today I'm going to show you a wonderful trick. Who wants to be turned into a box of frogs? I groaned. A boy from my class named Bruno put his hand in the air, and Wilbur gestured for Bruno to come and stand next to him. Wilbur rolled up his sleeves, closed his eyes, and puffed out his chest immediately. Then he pointed his finger at Bruno. Alabagdaba, he said. There was a loud bang and poof of pink smoke. Bruno disappeared, and in his place stood a large cardboard box. Loud croaking sounds were coming from inside. Wow, said my friends. Amazing. It's like real magic, said Oliver. We all watched as frogs started to jump out of the box. Wilbur looked very pleased with himself. Look at them all, squealed Zoe as the frog started to hop away across the room. Oh, wow. Oh, said Samantha, I hate frogs. What next? Al asked Wilbur. Who wants to see me pull a rabbit from my hat? Everyone cheered except Pink Rabbit, who looked very worried. Wilbur put on some thick gloves, just in case it bites. He said, winking, and everyone laughed. Wilbur, I called out wordily, what about Bruno? What about him? Said Wilbur, starting to put his gloves into his hat. Shouldn't you turn him back now? I asked. Wilbur looked surprised. Oh, he said, well, yes, I guess I should. We took his hand out of his hat. He was holding a fluffy white rat. That's not a rabbit, shouted Oliver. Laughing, that's a rat. All my friends were laughing now. They thought Wilbur was hilarious. Oh, said Wilbur, disappointed. So it is. Wilbur shouted, you need to turn Bruno back into a boy. All right, said Wilbur, looked annoyed. You have to catch the frogs, though, if you forgot one, that Bruno might come back missing an ear or something. My friends and I went off and searched for the frogs. We can't send Bruno home with only one ear, I wailed. Let me help, said Mom, holding her wand up in the air. But Wilbur did not want any help. No, no, he said. I can do it. At last, all the frogs were collected back in the box. We stared expectantly at Wilbur. He seemed a little nervous. Don't stare at me, he ordered. It breaks my concentration. Wilbur turned around so that he had his back to everyone and waved his arm in the air. We all waited. There were a few loud bangs and a lot of smoke, but eventually Bruno appeared. Rabbit, he said. Oops, hang on, said Wilbur. He waved his hand again and said some more magic words. Bruno blinked and looked confused. But this time, when he opened his mouth, words came out instead of croaks. That was awesome, he said. I breathed a sigh of relief. Thank goodness for that, said Dad, swooping in. I think it's time for the next activity. But I haven't finished my show, Uncle Batherman said, Wilbur crossly. I think you have, said Dad firmly. I think we will move on to the bouncy castle now. I smiled. A bouncy castle? Nothing could go wrong with that. There was still time for my party to be like a real human one. We're on chapter 6. We all followed Mom and Dad into the back garden. Then Mom pointed her wand at the sky. A silvery thread shot out the end and loosened inside one of the flat, fluffy clouds in the sky. Mom pulled the cloud down to the ground gently and stuck into the grass. Clouds make wonderful alternatives and bouncy castles, she told everyone. So much softer and bouncier. I frowned. I should have known a human bouncy castle was too much to ask for. But my friends didn't seem to mind. They all looked astonished and excited. Their eyes were round like saucers. You can all hop on, said Mom. Bounce away. We are going to go inside and put the candles on the birthday cake. Zoe was the first to take off his shoes and jump onto the cloud. It's so soft, she exclaimed, and she bounced up and down. I'm so high! Soon all my friends were on the cloud, bouncing around and laughing. It didn't look like anything could go wrong this time, so I decided to join in. I climbed onto the cloud and started jumping. Whee! I cried. Suddenly I felt very happy. Everyone was having a great time. even Samantha. It was just as much fun as a regular human party. I like flying, yelled Oliver. As we soared higher and laughed and screamed, I noticed Wilbur came out of the house and into the garden. He walked over to the cloud and stared up at us. Do you want me to make it even bouncier? He asked, seeing as I didn't get to finish my show. I could do some more magic for you now. Oh yes, cried my friends. Please do more magic. I stopped bouncing and jumped right off the cloud and onto the grass. I don't think that's a good idea, Wilbur, I began. Why not? Said Wilbur. It will be much more fun if it's bouncier. Here, let me do some more magic. He rolled up his starry sleeves and waved his arms into the air. Abracadabra, he said. A shower of sparks shot out of his fingers. The cloud gave a little wobble, and my friends began to fly up higher and higher into the air. Wow, Bruno cried. This is amazing. It is bouncier. Look at me. See, said Wilbur, much more fun. He crossed his arms and looked down at me. You should just relax, Isadora. He said, but I couldn't relax. Something didn't seem right. The cloud was rocking and shaking. It couldn't handle the added amount of bounce. The cloud began to loosen from the pegs. Everyone get off, I shouted in a panic, but no one listened to me. They were all having too much fun. I tugged on Wilbur's sleeve. Look, I said, it's about to fly away. It's not going to fly away, said Wilbur, rolling his eyes. It is. I instantly pointed at the pegs stuck into the grass. One by one, the strings were tied up on the pegs snapped, and slowly the cloud began to rise up into the air with all my friends on it. Oh, said Wilbur, staring in horror. Whoops, I told you, I said closely. We watched as the cloud floated higher and higher. Do something, I said to Wilbur. I can't bring a cloud down from the sky, he said. I won't learn how to do until the next term of wizard school. Picture. I'll get Mom. You stay here and don't move, I shouted. I ran to the kitchen where Dad was putting the last few candles into an enormous cake. Oh, Isadora, you're not supposed to see the cake yet, he said. It's an emergency, I told him. Where's Mom? She had to run upstairs for a minute. Here's the picture. Said Dad. Honey Blossom was crying and needed some pink milk. Oh, no, I wailed. What's wrong? Asked Dad. I was going to explain when I saw the very thing I needed sitting on the kitchen table, Mom whined. I grabbed it and flew back outside. We're on chapter 7. Wilbur was still standing where I had left him, staring at the sky. There it is, he said to me, pointing at a speck in the distance. It looked so small and so far away. There was no time to lose. I flapped my wings and rose up into the air. I flew as fast as I could, faster than ever before. But it still took a long time to catch up with the cloud. At last, I was near enough to hear my friend's voice. They had all stopped bouncing now. They were sitting very still and looked very scared. Some of them were lying on their stomachs and their faces peered over the edge. Their eyes were big and round as they stared down at the ground miles and miles below. Pink Rabbit had his paws over his ears. Isadora called Zoe as I landed gently on the cloud and sat down to get my breath back. We thought you were never coming. We thought you were lost in the sky forever, said Oliver. Pink Rabbit just bounced over to me and put his paws around my legs. I'm sorry, I said. It was my cousin Wilbur. He could never have put more magic on the cloud. But we're safe now, and you're here, aren't we? Asked Samantha. I wasn't so sure. I'm only half fairy, and wand magic isn't my strong point. But I made myself smile as though it was completely normal to me, stuck on top of a cloud in the middle of the sky. Oh yes, I said, don't worry. I'll find a way to get us down. I've got my mom's wand. I held it up in the air and the pink star glittered in the sunlight. Great, said Oliver. We're saved. I felt nervous. As I closed my eyes, I wasn't sure if I could get the cloud and all my friends back down to the ground, but I had to try. In my mind, I pictured the cloud floating gently down to earth. Then I waved the wand and opened my eyes. Nothing happened. Oh no, I thought anxiously. I closed my eyes to try again. I concentrated on the cloud harder this time. I imagined it sinking down, down, down. I waved the wand as hard as I could. But when I opened my eyes again, nothing happened. Oh no, I said aloud. What is it? Asked Samantha in a small, scared voice. I don't know if I can do it, I said truthfully. This is big magic. I only really do small kinds of wand magic, and I don't always get my spells right. I remember the time at the fairy school when I had tried to make a carrot cake appear. All I had managed was a carrot with bat wings and flew around the room and caused chaos. Oh, how will you get down? Said Samantha, sounding frightened. We have to think of another way, said Zoe. There must be another way. Samantha screwed up her eyes as though she was thinking very hard. Then she opened them again and looked a little less panicked. You know what? My mom always tells me, she said. She says that sometimes it's the little things that make a difference. So maybe it will only take a little bit of magic to get us out of this big mess. We have to think of a spell you can do. She pointed at the wings of her fairy costume. Could you make these come alive? She asked. I looked at the wings. They were very small compared to the cloud. I can try, I said. Samantha looked around at all of her friends sitting on the cloud in their costumes. She pointed at Bruno in his dragon suit. Do you think you could use magic to make Bruno's dragon wings really work too? She asked. I looked at the two fabric wings sewed on the back of Bruno's costume. Maybe. I said, feeling excited. Yes, I think I could do that. Well, then I have an idea, said Samantha. Look how many of us have wings in our costumes. Bruno has dragon wings. I have fairy wings. Sashi has butterfly wings. Oliver has a cape. And of course, you have real wings. If you could bring all the wings to life, then half of us could be able to fly. We could all help each other fly back to the yard, I said. Samantha, you're a genius. I gave her a big hug, and her face was as pink as Mom's hair. Let's try it, I said. We're on chapter 8. We started with Bruno. I pointed Mom's wand in the dragon wings and imagined them flapping to life. At first, it didn't work. Then the wings just changed color and we were covered in polka dots. But after a few tries, it gave a little twitch and flapped to life. Bruno immediately rose up into the air. Wow, he yelled, look at me! I tried Samantha's fairy wings next. It took only 2 tries before they started to flap. Eek! Peel! Samantha as she rose into the air. It's working, shouted Zoe excitedly, though I could tell she was a little jealous that she had not chosen a costume with wings. I had got the hang of the wand now, and the last 2 spells were easy. Oliver and Sashi rose up into the air, shirking their delight. Okay, everyone, I said, we all have to help each other now. The ones who can fly should hold hands with the ones who can't. I took Zoe's hand with one of mine and held it on the pink rabbit's paw with the other. Soon all they were floating. We must stick together, I said to everyone. I'm scared, said Samantha, looking fearfully down at the ground. It seemed very far away. The house and trees looked teeny, like little models. Don't be frightened, Samantha, I reassured her. Flying is fun. It is fun, agreed Bruno. I wish I could fly all the time. I love flying, cried Oliver, together. We all flapped slowly away from the cloud. There was nothing beneath us. Now just the air. Of course I am used to that. But my friends were not. Eek, Samantha. Woo, said Oliver. I pointed at a pink and black speck in the distance. Look, I said, that's my house. That's where we need to go. Follow me. I flew to the head of the ground, and Zoe and Pink Rabbit. Flap, 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 flap went my little bat wings. I can see our school, said Zoe. And there's the park. It all looks different from up there. Everyone is small, said Sashi. We're getting closer to my house now. I could just make out my bedroom window in the yard where there are dots moving. Back and forth, Mom and Dad and Wilbur were waving their arms. Suddenly, two of them shot up into the air and flew towards us. Oh my goodness, said Mom when she reached us. We were so worried. So worried, added Dad. We didn't know where the cloud had gone. By this time they came out to the yard, it had disappeared. Disappeared completely, said Mom. Oh, I'm so glad you're safe. We all flew over the garden fence and landed gently back on the grass. Wilbur explained what happened, said Dad, giving Wilbur a stern look. It was very brave of you to go and rescue your friends, Isadora. It wasn't just me, I said. It was Samantha. If it hadn't been for her brilliant idea, we would still be stuck on the cloud. Samantha really saved the day. Well then, said Mom, thank you, Samantha. Let's all give her 3 cheers. Everyone cheered for Samantha and her face turned bright pink again. But I could tell she was proud and pleased. It maybe wasn't the best idea for us to use a cloud instead of a bouncy castle, said Mom. I just got carried away. I'm sorry. I should have ordered a regular bouncy castle. Next time I will. No, shouted all my friends. The cloud was more fun, added Sashi. We will try to be more normal from now on, said Dad. We can see the party has been quite stressful for you. Isadora said, no, shouted all my friends again. Please don't change. Please, Zoe. We love you and your family the way you are, Isadora. Yes, we do, said Oliver. We love your family is different. Just keep being you, said Bruno. I looked around at everyone and felt a big smile spread over my face. I couldn't help it. I was just so happy. I even smiled at Cousin Wilbur. Really? I said. You don't even mind that we got stuck on the cloud in the middle of the sky? It was much more fun when a regular bouncy cloud, said Oliver. But I am hungry now, said Bruno. Then it must be time for a cake, said Dad. And that's it. We're on chapter 9 next time. So I hope you're sleeping, and I hope it helped. So good night.